So can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. So this is the inside of the Counterparty wallet, and assets that are yellow are ones that I have created with that wallet, so the wallet owns it. Ones that are blue are assets that someone else has created, and that I then have some. So I have 1,001 dough, and I have 5,000 love. So with ones that I don't own, you can go to send, and then it pops up this, and you type in the Bitcoin address, you type in the amount, click the send button. I'm not going to do that right now. The other thing you can do with it is show info, which pops up this little thing. It shows you the total issued. It shows you whether it's locked, and if it's locked, then it can't have any more units created, but if it's not locked, then it can have more units. It shows if it's divisible. Also shows stuff that's happened here. So the only thing that's happening here is that it was created, but if a dividend had been issued, that would be shown here. Or if if more had been created, it would show you that. And again, it's tied to the block time.
Right. Oh, cool.
So yeah, so that's
the open ledger, right?
Pardon?
That's the open ledger.
Yeah, it's kind of an open ledger thing. You know, there's still some stuff in order. So here's an asset that I own, LTB coin. Let's go to actually LTB coin test is the one we've been playing around with. I issued 100,000 of them. I have 25,000 left here. So I have a bunch of different options. Show info, which shows me this stuff again. And you can see that there are two events here. This one was I issued another 42 units just to test the secondary issuance. So there's that. I can issue additional, and I can just type in the number. So I want to issue an additional 8. Issue additional. You have issued 8 additional quantity of your LTB coin test. This action will take some time to complete. And it does take some time to complete. Oh, this is another fascinating thing, Xavier, that I just realized like a couple of hours ago. Counterparty and these protocols make Bitcoin look slow. And so it's the first time it's actually mattered that like a Litecoin or something has block times that are like, I think it's like a minute or 2 minutes or something for Litecoin. I can't even recall what it is.
Right.
But the point is that means that in order for an action to have actually happened on my counter wallet, if it was based on Litecoin instead of Bitcoin, it would happen, that much faster at whatever the block time is, as opposed to Bitcoin's block time. So I think that this is the first reason I've actually seen why a shorter block time actually matters, because people say for security reasons, that's a bunch of bullshit. It's about the amount of time it takes to propagate through the network rather than about whether it's the first confirmation. But for something like this, that's not the case. For something like this, it's actually much better. So it was a thought I had that I think that actually Litecoin might wind up with a better version of Counterparty built on top of it that we're going to switch to.
Yeah, I as an aside, I had a recollection a long time ago that Bitcoin was going to do this amazing thing, and then Litecoin was going to do that amazing thing twice over, and then the next coin, quote unquote, that didn't have the term coin at the end was the winner. In terms of like the currency wars of the early 21st century, So that's interesting that you bring that point up. Okay, so this looks like a really cool interface.
So some other things. So anyways, let's continue to go through that. Transfer ownership. So if you need to give it to somebody else, you can put in the address and transfers the ownership of it. And that's again and then you can lock asset issuance, which lets you lock. You can change the description, or you can pay a dividend. So let's pay a dividend. So I have all these options. These are the things that I currently have in this wallet. So I have 1,425 XCP, but I'm going to give a dividend of LTB coin to LTB coin. So how about 0.001 per unit? It'll do 100.042 LTB coins and pay dividend. And that's it. And so the next time the block ticks, so you can see up here, these are pending actions. So here's the issuance, and then here's the dividend.
Great. So how does that work in terms of the dividends getting spread? Who do you pay dividends to at that point? Who are you paying dividends?
I'm paying to. I've given out lots of. You'll notice I only have 25,732 LTB coin test here, and then down here I have another 50,000 LTB coin. But there's about 25,000 LTB coin that's out in the wild right now. And we're actually going to be doing, I don't think I've talked to you about this. We're going to be auctioning for LTB coin this one here, LTB coin seat. There are 10 of them. It's going to represent a ticket to our hangout to be on the call.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we're going to start auctioning those next week, and then sponsor LTB. We're going to start issuing that, and it's going to be like a really basic live sponsorship thing for the LTB coin show.
My question was specifically, when you did that dividend, does that pay that dividend out to everybody who's got LTB coin right now?
Yes, it goes to everybody. So I will actually get most of this dividend. So when we'll see, this 50,000 will go to 50,050 actually.
Okay, so you issued whatever it was, 123 LTB coins, and that 123 gets spread, or everybody gets 123?
That 123 gets spread, but the way that the interface actually works, let me show you. Pay dividend. So let's say, for example, I put in, so what you do is you put the dividend per unit. So you're actually putting the per unit. So, I put 0.001 and it's going to be 100 or so XCP. So that's really more what it is you'll have to figure it out on a per unit basis and then pop that in here. I guarantee there'll be better interfaces for it later, but it works well enough.
It does work, right? So if let's say Permacredits ecosystem is generating, I don't know, $1 million worth of BTC that year or that quarter or whatever, then we have to go and divide up how many wallets there are, and then
No, it's not how many wallets. It's not how many wallets. Literally, all you will do is you'll take this number here, because again, here's the whole history. Issued 100,042. So all you do is you take the amount of profit you have, you divide it by 100,042, and that's the number that you put into that pay per unit.
Okay. No, that's great. It's good to understand, because that way your coin is directly tied to whatever dividends are coming, but your vote is tied to your wallet, right? So you don't get a higher vote.
So let's talk about this, for example. This is actually a great point here. So that voting concept, I just had that idea, and I'm like, because I'm getting to use this thing, I'm like, oh wow, that's really awesome. This totally works. So I'm going to issue an asset here. This wasn't working earlier, so it might not still be working, but let's see. Let's call it vote. No? Vote? Hey, nobody's taking it yet. That's hilarious. This is a vote. And there are 1,000,000, 100,000 and 5. How many do I have issued? I don't remember. I think it's 100,050. And this is a callable asset. So callable assets may be called back on a specific date for a specific strike price. So I will pick, this one should be called back on April 30th. Actually, no, it'll be called back tomorrow.
But a longer voting period could be open for, the members.
Yeah. I mean, you could do whatever, so let's say you want to do it at the end of April. So it's at the end of April at midnight. What's that, AM? Ability at that point to press the button that says call back. And so you can set the price here, because for some things, like for options and stuff like that, like you might want someone to hold it, or there might be a reason. It might be something that's legitimately valuable, and so therefore you don't want to be able to call it back. But for a vote, I think that 0 is probably a decent number, or 0.000001 or something like that. Oh, it's a non-divisible asset. I forgot about that.
But we could make it so that we could pay them for it. Right.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that you are paying people who didn't vote then.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, let me think about this. Okay. Well, anyways, I think that we should be able to create this so that the call price should be 0. But even if it's not 0, the XCP price 0.00. Okay. Great. Create asset. Okay. To give every person who has LTB coin test 1 vote. And then they get to vote however they want. Like you'd have a website set up. So again, I think that the app thing still happens. I'm just saying it doesn't happen. The problem is that tying it to wallets isn't going to work. You can tie it to logins, and that kind of is what you're talking about. But I don't know. I mean, again, it feels like this might be permacredits might only be used to vote on really meta stuff, and it might be better to have individual decision making kind of restricted to to the individual projects, because again, the meta is only useful in that it ties everything together. The individual intelligence resides in each project itself.
Yes, and it is not just up to the council to determine what project is viable, but the up-down votes of the entire community. But that doesn't necessarily need to be tied to a coin. That could be in an app, like in the Permacredits app.
Right, and those two things also aren't mutually exclusive. Just because, again, we have to stop thinking in terms of coin, we can start thinking in terms of token. Tokens are good for a variety of reasons, mostly because we don't have to necessarily care about, because we can distribute them along the same passage as other tokens that we've given out before. Like, for example, membership on the, on the Permacredits Council could be a non-divisible coin, who they pick as their successor.
Right.
Or, there's this tokenizing of anything that can really make these things very powerful. So here's the buy-sell interface. Let me just show you some of this other stuff. So I want to buy LTB coin test with XCP from address, this one that has 1,400. Here's the market. Looks like there's nobody actually offering to sell it right now because I withdrew my price. You can see this is the market history. Other things, here's a history of my accounts. So you can see it tracks balances and a variety of different things. And these are all different wallets that I control. Here's a more interesting history. It shows, I got an order match and sent somebody 0.5 test BTC in exchange for 25 test XCP. Here's where I canceled an order. Here's where I sent this thing. Looks like,
I imagine by the end of this year, this is going to look almost completely different, or at least be much more.
Well, this is the first version. That's
yeah,
the relevant
totally.
part of it. Yeah. So here's a dividend payment that I did. So, and I keep track of it by block. So anyway, so this stuff is there. The portfolio thing is also kind of cool. Once the market has determined more prices, it'll be more useful. But just based on the super basic stuff, you can already see.
Yeah.
It auto-generates prices from that and stuff like that. And then you've got a chat over here that actually has been pretty entertaining. So yeah, no, I have to tell you, I'm pretty ridiculously here are the votes. So let's do the vote thing. Well, anyways, the point is you get it by now. I could do the vote thing, and let's see down here. I should have, yeah, there's that 50 that came out as a dividend.
Oh yeah.
And a few more there. So yeah, so all of this is super easy. I think that people are not going to have trouble maintaining multiple assets using wallets like this. This is the first, definitely not the last. So we should really strongly consider just kind of moving forward, not necessarily talking about that yet, but very, very much designing with the idea that we're going to grow to that size pretty quickly, and then it'll make sense just to use the internal ecosystem for most of it, and to make it a special occasion when new coins are issued.
Okay, that sounds good.
Cool.
All right, man.
All right.
Bye.
Take it easy.